If you're looking to start or grow a lead generation agency and make $10,000 a month online, then this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through the exact 5 steps that I've used in my business Acquired to be able to generate over $900,000 in cash collected over the last 2 years. As you can see, this video isn't going to be theory. This is actually how I've been able to generate this much revenue and how you can do exactly the same following these 5 steps. Now let's get straight into it. So everything starts, as you can imagine, with your offer. This is classic Alex Hormozy. And if you don't have your offer really dialed in and structured in, you're never going to be able to actually sign clients. What your offer is composed of is a dream outcome you can achieve for your clients, the perceived likelihood of them achieving this, over the time delay that it takes to achieve this result, and the effort and sacrifice they're going to put in to achieve this result. What you need to do with your offer is make it very specific to your audience. So instead of just saying, oh, we help B2B companies, you need to say that we help this specific niche of B2B companies achieve this exact result in this time frame. The more specific the offer, the more success you will see. And without an offer, you can't start then creating your outreach scripts and actually reaching out to businesses to help them. For example, out of these 2 offers, which one do you think would generate more interest? We generate leads for B2B companies. We build fully automated outbound systems that can deliver 12 plus qualified sales calls per month. So you need to remember specificity is key here. Okay, so you need to have the offer in place before you actually start doing outreach. Now, another key thing that you need in order to get this offer in place is to define down to a particular niche. Because the truth is, you don't need to reach out to everyone. You just need a specific niche that you can actually focus on. If you try and attract everyone with the biggest, widest net possible, you'll actually end up attracting no one. And this is what I learned when I very first started my business. I thought, okay, lead generation, surely I can partner with any B2B business. But if you act like that and you try and frame it like that, then it's not going to really resonate with anyone and you actually miss out on sales that way. So it's really important to focus on one particular niche and just double down there rather than trying to appeal to anyone. It sounds counterintuitive, but you'll definitely make more sales just by focusing on one particular niche. I've created other videos on my channel on how you can pick the best niche for you and some high performing niches for lead gen agencies right now. But the types of niches you want to go after are ones that have high LTV or lifetime value of their customers. For example, charging $10, $20, $50, even $100,000, meaning it's very easy for you to get them ROI. And you need your niches to be B2B businesses, selling to other businesses. This means it will be far easier to make your cold email outreach and your LinkedIn outreach work for them. Now, once you have your offer and your niche, all you really need to focus on is building your outreach engine and your outreach machine. So you have 2 options to actually hit your targets with your outreach. You can either use a bow and arrow and do it manually one by one, which might be quite accurate, but it's extremely time consuming. You don't get that many hits on target and it's just going to take a long time to build this out. Or you can build a machine that will be able to reach out to hundreds, if not thousands of leads automatically for you. The way you do this is by building systems on outreach platforms. For example, if you want to build cold email systems, then I recommend building them on smartlead.ai. If you want to build LinkedIn outreach systems, you should do it on heyreach.io. And if you want to build cold calling and SMS systems, I recommend doing that on Go High Level. Building up these systems will allow you to do way more outreach than you're able to do manually, and it will lead to far greater success. As you know, one of the key things about a lead gen agency, especially getting it off the ground, is just how much outreach you can do. So you want to focus on building systems and building machines that will be able to do way more than you can do manually. I recently had one of my private one-to-one clients just ask me if they should be sending cold emails in their own time, writing them manually and personalizing them. And I told them no, because it's far better to spend that time focusing on refining and building your system rather than just sending an email. For example, say it takes an hour to write 20 really highly personalized emails. That 1 hour could also be spent building a system that could then send 10,000 emails over the course of the next few weeks. And you'll get a far better return on your time building the system that will allow you to do more outreach in the long run. So sometimes you need to sacrifice the short-term gratification. It might feel good doing an hour's worth of outreach, sending emails and sending LinkedIn messages, but that time is far better spent building an outreach system that will then continually do the outreach on your behalf. Like I said, we're actually using HeyReach, which is on my screen right now, to send some of our LinkedIn campaigns out of. Like you can see yesterday, we sent around over 200 pieces of outreach, completely automated, and we're doing this every single day. That booked us around 3 calls yesterday, and we're doing this from the LinkedIn accounts that are tied to my business. So instead of spending my time trying to create highly personalized LinkedIn messages that I can send off one at a time, instead, I just build the systems in the tools that allow you to do this on your behalf. So I didn't send any outreach messages manually yesterday, and I booked 3 sales calls for our business. If you're not sure how to set these systems up yourself and actually book sales calls in, then I've got a link below where you can book a time with me and we can go over this and explain exactly how we potentially could help. But once you are doing this outreach, it's inevitable you'll be getting sales calls in. And this is the next stage of the process. You need to focus on refining your sales systems. Especially if you're growing your own business, none of this actually matters if you're getting a ton of lead flow, but you can't close the deals. So having a dialed in sales process is really important. What your sales process might look like is you get the first call booked in from the outreach. The purpose of this call would just be to do discovery with the prospect and not to close them on this call. You want to treat this call like a diagnosis, like you're a doctor diagnosing what their problems are so you can prescribe them a solution in the second call. So I recommend just taking this call to see if there is actually a fit between you and the prospect. If there is, then I would book the second call, and this call would be going over more of a proposal that you have for this particular client. Once you've established some connection and some need from the client, this second call will be much warmer and much easier to actually close the deal. Sometimes you might need call 3 to actually get it over the line, which would be maybe looking at signing the proposal and then making payment so they can get onboarded. But the truth is, you might see people online telling you, oh, you can do 1 call closes for your agency. That's not going to happen in a B2B setting, especially if you're running a lead gen agency. You need to be in the mindset this is going to take 2 or 3 calls to get these deals across the line. If you want to know the exact sales framework that I use and the sales scripts that I use to sign clients, then I have another video on my channel explaining exactly how you can do this. As you're starting to make these sales with your business, then you need to focus on retention, upselling, and systemizing your lead gen agency. This is the 5th and final step of actually building the business. So the truth is, over time, to hit the big months, $50,000, $100,000, you're not going to get there by constantly acquiring new clients. The way you're actually going to build that is through monthly recurring revenue by retaining your existing clients. It's way easier to scale a business off retention than acquisition. I've done both of these before, and when I was scaling just by acquiring new customers constantly, it was very difficult, very painful, more moving parts, less margins, and it wasn't sustainable. As soon as I focused on actually creating retention systems and retaining the clients I do have, profit margins increased, workload decreased, and that our business was actually able to grow more sustainably. This also means you can actually spend more on your marketing if you're running ads to acquire customers because you know they're going to have a higher lifetime value. Most important things around retention are really just setting expectations during the onboarding phase, having a smooth onboarding, and ensuring that your back-end process can deliver results. If you do this right and you're retaining clients for 3+ months, then what you can start to do is notice that these clients are probably going to struggle somewhere else. So the issue isn't usually just generating leads for them. For example, you might have clients that you can generate leads for, but then they can't close the leads themselves. This is when you would start to look at potentially helping them with upsells. So it might be sales coaching. It might be placing a closer in their business to help them close these sales calls, where it might be integrating yourself even further into their sales process and adding qualifications for the leads that are booking in the calls. Whatever it might be, you want to identify the issue that they're facing as a result of generating more leads and then offer an upsell to be able to do that. And then, of course, systemization of your business. So as you're using automations for the outreach, you also want to be systemizing the back-end process as well, such as client onboarding, which can be done using tools like Zapier. So as soon as clients sign agreements or make payments, they can be getting automated onboarding emails, which will start the process of bringing them on as a client and making sure nothing gets missed. So if you follow these 5 steps, that should help you build your lead gen agencies at 10K a month as quickly as possible. If you're looking for specific one-to-one help of how to build your lead gen agencies at $10,000 a month, then there's a link in the description where you can book a call directly with myself and we can see if there's a fit where we could help you build this together. If that's of interest, make sure to book a call below and I shall speak to you very soon. Hopefully this video has been useful and I shall see you on the next one.